What the fuck is up, dudes? How's it going? I'm back. I missed another upload, but fuck you. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care. Who cares? I got like 30 subscribers. It gives me the freedom to upload whenever the fuck I want, because nobody watches these videos anyway. But I've been getting a lot of requests to talk about Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7. And when I say a lot of requests, I mean nobody. Nobody's asked me, but fuck you, I'm doing it anyway. So, for this video I'm doing something a little bit different. I've got some footage recorded of me and my friend Alex playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I'm going to put over the video because, again, I don't want to use footage from this because I don't want to get cucked by Disney. I don't even know if that's a real fear, but I don't want to do it. And I thought Battlefront 2 is a fun game to put over this, so that's what's going to be happening. Now, I'm going to talk about Season 7 of the Clone Wars, but I am going to split it up into two chunks. I'm going to talk about it without spoilers, and then I'm going to tell you when I'm about to spoil things. So for starters, without spoilers, is Season 7 good? I think it's pretty good. It's okay. I don't know if it's the best compared to the other seasons, because I don't remember how well a lot of the other seasons hold up, but I know this season has some flaws, and it has some really good shit in it. Overall, there are a lot of huge improvements. Fantastic animation. The soundtrack is actually really good. So a lot of the things that kind of held the Clone Wars down previously, like the jank of the animation and just the fact that they couldn't seem to have a single episode without having electric guitar in it, kind of separated it from actual Star Wars. It was like, this is Star Wars, yeah, but it's for kids. And in this season, that's really not present. It's really clear that this is made for the people who really loved the show and grew up with it and wanted to see it finished. So I really appreciate that, and I'm really glad that I did get to watch this season. But again, feel like it could have been better. Some of the flaws are a lot of the arcs seem kind of pointless. Let's go arc by arc. The Bad Batch arc. It's fun. It's just Clone Wars fun, but it's not super important. It's not a huge thing. It's just kind of, you know, a fun Clone Wars adventure. Ahsoka's arc, the second arc in the season, is just kind of weird and boring, and I didn't really like it. It just kind of felt like filler. And it was really obvious that it was filler, because there were just a bunch of random characters that were added, and it was just a random thing. The whole arc was a random subplot that didn't actually tie in with anything. It just led up to the final arc, the Siege of Mandalore arc, which is, by far, Clone Wars at its best. It is the best Clone Wars arc I have ever seen, and I loved it. It is so good. But even that has some minor flaws, which I can't really talk about without getting into spoiler territory. I'm gonna get into spoiler territory now, so, yeah, be careful.
Stop it! You're spoiling it! You're spoiling everything!
The first arc with, you know, Echo coming back is cool. It's great that Echo's back. I thought that was neat, but the thing is, everybody already knew that was gonna happen, because that's old news at this point. Everybody knew that they were planning on bringing Echo back. If you followed the Clone Wars in any way, or you watched the unfinished episodes, you knew he was gonna come back. So that wasn't really a big story twist like it might have been originally. Also, didn't really make a lot of sense to me that they put this arc in the final season, because, yeah, it's great, Echo's back, that's awesome, but that motherfucker's gonna be dead or shooting Jedi in, like, 6 episodes, so it's a fun arc, but it just feels kind of out of place in the final season. Then the second arc follows Ahsoka kind of going on a little adventure with some new friends she's made, and again, it's just kind of, it feels unnecessary. There's some stuff in there that ties into the final arc, but it really does just kind of feel like it didn't need to be there. So it's kind of just boring. because there's not a lot happening, and there's this whole, you know, weird thing with like Ahsoka not wanting to tell these people that she's with that she's a Jedi, but it's like, why not? You know, like it's just it was poor. I didn't find it that fun. I would have much preferred that the whole season follows the line of the final arc where Order 66 happens. And I think they missed an opportunity here, because the sad thing about the last arc is we already know how it ends. We know that Rex survives, we know that Ahsoka survives, we know who lives and who dies because we've already seen the movies. That's not new. And I think the showmakers kind of forgot what they were actually doing here. Like, we knew how this story ended. The interesting thing here was to see the context, what really happened. And I missed that. I feel like it wasn't really present in this season. I still think the season was a hit. I like it. I had fun with it, but it could have been better. If the first two arcs had been like something following some of the other Jedi, because there have been other Jedi that are recurring characters as, you know, generals in this series. You know, like, I would have loved to see Plo Koon or Mace Windu or Isla Sakura, all of whom we saw in this season very briefly. I would have liked to follow them up until the events of Revenge of the Sith, like to see the build-up, to give Revenge of the Sith more context and make it, you know, to fully understand why it's such a big deal. If we had seen Plo Koon with his, you know, deployment of his clones and everything going onto the planet where he eventually gets executed, that would have been really cool. If we got to see a story leading up to that, it would have made his death in Revenge of the Sith feel more real. The same goes for Isla Sakura and all these other Jedi who we got to know throughout the series as characters. It just kind of felt ignored in this season, and I get that they were probably limited in what they were allowed to do, but I still feel like that would have been a much more interesting approach. Am I satisfied with the way my childhood has died? Yeah, I'm pretty okay with it. I think this is the best we could have hoped for. I didn't actually think it would go up to Revenge of the Sith, let alone in Revenge of the Sith, because in the final arcs we actually do see Ahsoka and Rex during the events of Revenge of the Sith, and we see Order 66 happen, and I thought that was really cool. I was not expecting that. Again, a lot of its tension was lost because, you know, like, you're sitting in an epic scene, Ahsoka and Rex are fighting off the clones, and you're like, oh god, what's gonna happen? And then you remember both of these motherfuckers live because Star Wars Rebels is a thing for some reason. All in all, I think I'd give the season probably like a 7 out of 10. But that's probably being really generous because the last arc really fucking nailed it home for me. In no way is every Clone Wars episode in the season equal. There are some episodes that are significantly better than others, but all of them have a really high standard of excellence compared to previous seasons, because it just looks and sounds so much better than it used to. Should you watch this new season? I say yeah. I think you definitely should. If you have watched it, let me know what you think. Am I talking out of my ass here? Or does some of this shit make sense? I don't know. Happy super late May the 4th, and don't let the Backstreet Boys get you.